So, welcome back. This episode, I will be talking about relationships and how to make sure that you are good in one. So, let me start out with a little topic about a relationship, about me. Well, I am 43 and I've been married 3 times. 2 times to a woman, 1 time to a man. So relationships to me is hard, as you know. And being in one for a long period of time, my relationships are normally long. So being in a long relationship, you know that during that time it's very stressful, very hard, and it's work. Lots of work. If anybody tells you that it's not, it's all rainbows, sunshines, and chips and gummy bears, honey, they're lying to you. So, any relationship goes through their ups and downs. You just gotta know when to get off the roller coaster, when it's time. Now, with that said, every relationship has their red flag syndromes or whatever it is, and there's times when you be like, oh man, I'm walking away from this, and you should if you're in a domestic violence situation, or someone is gaslighting you, or, are you in a relationship with a narcissistic. If you're in a relationship with any of those 3 things, then I think it's time for you to run. When you're gaslighted, if you don't know what gaslighting is someone who's reflecting what they're doing onto you. So say for instance, they're being overbearing, being rude, but then they're saying, oh no, it's you, or they're deflecting it off with them onto you or something like that. That's gaslighting. So if you're in a situation like that, you're never going to win. And there's no way out of that. That person is just going to be that person. If that person is always saying, oh no, it's not me, it's you. Or, it's always your fault, it's always somebody else's fault, and they're never taking responsibility for anything that they're doing. That's narcissistic and gaslighting at the same time. So you definitely want to get away from that because it doesn't get any better. Trust and believe me. After 12 years of trying, I know it doesn't get any better. It gets worse. So when you are in that situation, you talk to your friends, your relatives, you tell people exactly what's going on because, if you don't tell somebody, they'll never know. And the best way to get ahead of it is to tell somebody, to talk to somebody about it, because you don't want to keep that in, because that anger is something that you don't want to bottle up, and you want to let it out. You want to have a release. You at least want to have one person that you could tell and talk to about it, because it's hard enough within itself to go through it, but it's hard enough to go through it alone. And that is the scariest part, especially if you got kids, and if you're a friend or a family member who are experiencing this with someone that you make sure that you never, ever, ever tell them to leave. Because that's the worst thing in the world that you could tell someone, is to tell them to just go ahead, girl, why don't you just go ahead and leave? Because if they leave without a plan and a clear supplies plan in place, then you could be setting them up for their own death. So if you know someone like that, get them to the nearest domestic violence place or somewhere that they can go safely and talk about a plan in place for them to leave. But never tell them to leave, and never condemn them for not leaving, because you never know what you would be like if you was in that situation. You know, everybody on the outside looking in could say, oh man, if it was me, I would leave. But you don't know that. Because I was one of those people. I said the exact same thing. Oh, that would never be me. You know, I would leave when I want to leave. And I wound up staying for 12 years and not knowing how to leave. You know, so being a person on the outside looking in, and then getting trapped inside of that situation that I exactly said, oh, that'll never be me. You know, I know how both sides is. So knowing that, you know, I know that, you know, the person who told me to leave was not helping me and doing me an injustice, you know, because when I did leave, I got seriously hurt. So I should have stayed until I had a plan or a backup plan to go to be safe. So make sure you have a plan, or make sure you know someone that can help you in the process of getting a plan, because leaving without a plan is very dangerous. Staying in the situation is even dangerous, but leaving without a plan is even dangerous. So with that said, you know, make sure that you have everything that you need. And I hope you stay safe, and I hope you know that you are not alone. There's someone out there just like you, and that someone's backing you and rooting for you, and that someone is always there for you. And if you're watching this video, leave a comment and let me know how I can help, because we're here to help you. You know, all you have to do is just ask. And then there's also domestic violence hotline that you can call out to at any moment. You know, they're there to help you, you know. And there's a police line. There's actually one that's in Pierce County that's set up just for women. I'll have to get you the numbers to those things, but I will most definitely, if I can, I'll leave it in the comment box. That way you will know exactly what the numbers are, and you can go from there for yourself. Stay safe, get help, and make sure that you know that you're not alone, because I've been in those situations in your shoes. Sometimes we get into relationships to find ourselves, or we get in a relationship thinking that we will find ourselves, and that's not the truth. Sometimes we get in there and we try to find what we lost. But in actuality, we didn't really lose anything. It's finding out exactly who we are. If you find out who you are before you get into a relationship, you won't have to find out what you lost while you're in it. The most puzzling part to me is when you see yourself losing yourself inside of a relationship, and you think that, you know, you got to grab a hold, or you're trying to find this particular thing that you are seeking in a relationship, whether it's love, whether it's taking for granted of your feelings, cuddling, you know, doing things together, time, affection, emotions, all these things that you're looking for in someone else. You know, we often forget that we need to get that from ourselves first. And that is the hardest part for me to puzzle, why people would piece together and say, oh, I need to get this from this person, or gravitate to this person to get this from that person, when, you know, the person that you need to get it from first is yourself. Loving yourself first is the key to any relationship. I didn't find that out until later on in life, but the process of finding who I was came at a difficult time, and it made me feel like I lost everything in the world. But then in actuality, I thought I had lost the person, but I really lost that person a long time ago. It was myself that I was crying for, and that person that I was looking for was right in front of the mirror. When I got up every morning, she was there. When I woke up, when I went out in the world, she was there, and 5 out of 10, we all are looking for that love and that acknowledgement and that from someone else. But when we turn around internally and look, did we really want it from that other person, or did we really want it from ourselves? The validation comes from you within, not from someone else. They just added bonus to the validation within yourself. So when you are looking for the love, the affection, and all of that, you ask yourself, are you giving that to you? Then you will know if that person that you're trying to date or try to be with is going to give it to you. Because whatever you give to you, that person is going to reflect and give it back to you. But I didn't know that until recently. When I left my current marriage, I thought I had lost everything, and it was hard because I was picking up pieces and had to cover and had to figure out who I was in the midst of the storm. And while the storm was going on, everything else in the world was going on too. And I was like, man, maybe if I just stopped this portion of everything, it would be okay. But then I realized that I didn't need to stop anything. I just needed to reflect and look at what I was or who I was per se versus trying to get the other people to see me for who I was. I needed to see myself. And then when I started seeing myself, then I started seeing a whole different people. And the people, like I was telling you before in the other episode, I saw my team fall apart to be built back up to see who was still standing. But I actually saw myself, and then I saw my team, my support. And then I knew who I was because they didn't let me fall. I thought I was falling. I even thought I was dead, And then I had a friend, she's like, get up. She's like, this is not where you need to be. She's like, you need to get yourself together and get yourself right. And I was like, okay. And that was the support I needed. And I got up and I took that moment, and it took me a good moment to get myself together, even in the midst of the storm that was happening. It took me a minute to get myself together, but when I did, and I saw who I was, I didn't need validation from anybody else but myself. I knew what I wanted to do, I know where I wanted to go, I know the things I needed to do to get there, and I knew the people that I needed to talk to get there, to go there. So with that said, I always thought that I always needed somebody beside me to go with me on my journey. And now I know that I can go on my journey alone. And my partner is just the added bonus to go with me on that journey. Before all that happened, when you're in a relationship and you see yourself losing yourself, that is the hardest part and the reality to face. So when you're bringing it back, trying to catch yourself from falling, and you see that everybody else that was supposed to be on your team is sitting there letting you fall, that's a hard pill to swallow too. And then when you fall, you see that it's only a handful that's left, and you're like, man, what happened to all the people that was there, doing all this chaos, or before the chaos, and then you realize that everything that you lost wasn't a loss, it was a gain. It was your win, because sometimes you have to shed skin in order to see the new you, the better you. And now that you are on your way and you're seeing that you have a better you, there ain't no stopping you. You can be who you want to be. You can go wherever you want to be. or wherever you want to go. You know, you can do the things that you wanted to do, but you were stopping you. And back then, that was holding you back from moving forward, you know. So when you find yourself in a relationship that's holding you back, that is taking you on a ride in your mind, you need to get off that roller coaster. Because sometimes you can love them, but love them from a distance. You know, sometimes you have to love you more and take that time to love yourself versus then sitting there trying to find somebody else to love you. And when you find yourself loving someone else more than you love you, you reevaluate yourself. You know, now I love me. And I wake up in the morning, you know, and 3 things that I'm grateful for every morning is my life, my health, and me. I'm me. I'm grateful for me. Because without me, I wouldn't be grateful for anything, you know. And I got another chance at life when I thought that it was over, you know. And sometimes, you know, we sit there in our lives and we complain and we pray to God about, or pray to whoever we pray to about taking this off of us or taking whatever off of us, and we settle, you know. But sometimes in that settlement, you're not going to do anything until you want to change, till you get tired. And when you get tired, then that's when the change comes. You know, when you get tired of waking up in the morning looking at yourself as a different person, you will make that change, you know. So while you're praying, make that change. Are you tired? Are you tired enough to make that change, to do something different? And that's where I was at. I woke up and I said, no more, you know. And I choose me. And when you choose you, you'll look different, you'll walk different, you'll act different, you'll feel different. And it'll feel like a weight has lifted off your shoulders. And there's nothing that nobody can say or do, you know. Everybody can look at you different. They can say, oh yeah, she this, she thinks she that. Let them think whatever they want to think. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes the people who hate you don't even know you. They are judging you off of something that they think that they know. They don't even know who you are. Sometimes if you look at your haters, you be like, well, who the heck are you? I don't even know who you are. So how are you going to hate me? But you keep loving you, and your haters will come and go. And you'll see them. So, you know, every relationship has their moments, and every relationship has their pitfalls. You just got to know when to let go, when to love you the most. And that is the most valuable thing that I want you to take from this episode, is love you. Because without loving you, any relationship that you get in is just going to be the same as the one you just left. Because you don't love you. You will accept whatever comes if you don't love you. You know, I'm telling you, when you love you, you ain't going to accept the same stuff that you accept from the last relationships, because that stuff don't apply. You're going to get tired. You're going to say, I'm going to shed the skin and it's gone. And that's what you need to do. Take from this episode and love you. Do the steps of all the things you need to do. Love yourself. Let go of past stuff. And if you have a relationship that is not doing you any good, that's not growing, that's not fulfilling you, then let it go. Because you can fulfill yourself. You can grow with yourself. You can do all the things that you think you can do with that relationship. You can do it with yourself. And if you wait long enough, you'll find somebody to come along and add to that. Not be that, but add to that. Because you don't want anyone to be that. You be that and let them add to that. Because I know for myself, I thought that. My last relationship made me see and wake up, because I thought that that was it. I thought that I was a goner. But here I am sitting right here telling you that I love Dax. I love me more than anybody else here on earth. And I'm telling you, you love you too. Because when you're in a relationship and you lose yourself, looking at yourself differently after you find yourself is a hell of a part. I'm telling you. Because when I saw myself for the first time again, I couldn't tell you exactly what I saw, but I'm telling you, here she is now. She is sitting in front of you, new and approved. I might look like I still have the same shell, but I have a different mind. So that's what you need to walk away with. And if you don't walk away with anything else, know that you love you. And that's important. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. And comment below and tell me something about yourself. Because I am Dax.